Golly gee.
The first UU Art Guild, Bard Hall Gallery. This portion of the evening is the artist's presentation and Q&A, but I can't read anything with my contacts.
All right.
So I'll just wing it. Oh, I'm not gonna wear your glasses. He's videotaping me. And we got that on. Welcome, I am Mollie Kellogg. I am the artist who created the Incognito Witch Project, which started in 2009 as a few little doodles in a leather-bound diary, and over the years has lasted, and now it is about 24 different paintings and several videos, including the one you saw tonight.
In these clothes, in this car, in the mirror, what do I fear? It's not a reflection of me. In my head, in my chest, fingers chill.
Thank you. I'll turn the lights on so you can look at me.
We're trying to break free. Am I wrong to want what I don't have?
What is an incognito witch? How many of you are familiar or have seen previous Incognito Witch paintings or know the project, about the project? It's good. Yay! So I can sit down, right? My goal for the series was to take these witches to a new place. Like, literally have them get up off of whatever they've been sitting on and go outside. Getting them out into the world, and also sort of releasing myself from my predetermined limitations. There's a word that is used a lot when you're trying to get your work out there, and that's consistency. They want a consistent body of work. So I sort of strapped on my consistent parameters, and I've been sticking with that since basically '09, and I ripped those suckers off and said, what the hell? So it was hard because there's a lot of dialogue in your head. So I gave myself permission, and I am very pleased with the result, as I hope you are too. Okay, I'm looking for some acknowledgement of my It's hard to miss an incognito witch. There are some elements of an incognito witch that say, hey, I'm an incognito witch. And that is the flash of color under the eyes. The men have these little primal tribal dots under their eyes. He has the dots, and he has the dots, and that's because they're men. It's sort of like the warring element of, so that's them. Also, the girls, they love their jewels. There's not as many jewels in this series as in the others, and that was one of those like internal battles. They have to have jewels, but you're doing whatever you want, but they have to have jewels. So I sort of compromised, and she has her ring, and she has the tiara, and there was just so much going on in this painting that it just didn't, the eye that didn't want the jewels won that fight. You'll see she has like a little earring, and he has a little earring, so, we compromised. We worked it out and compromised. They also have the nature. They all have nature. They have flowers or leaves, and critters of some sort, except of course medicine man here, because you don't want bugs on your pot plants. So he doesn't have any bugs on his. And that was a conscious decision. I really like this little watch. So if you have a chance to get close to it and look at that watch, I think that watch is pretty cool. This is my beautiful goddess daughter, Ani, in all her beautiful, voluptuous glory. And I'm embarrassing her over here in the corner. And the screaming that you heard earlier of those who were here was because they weren't going to come down for the show. She surprised us. And they just sort of walked in and it was like, ah! So there she is. And here she is. And so yes, I love my baby girl. I love the painting.
What is her magical drinking?
My daughter's a vegan. This is called Sunrise because that's when she stumbled out of bed and sat down, and my model, who was supposed to pose, had sort of stood me up, and I had this great leather shag carpet that I had yet to put out because I wanted to shoot it because it had this great warrior princess thing. And so she walks out and I'm like, can you pose? Okay. Here, let me put this on you. Thump. You know, and there was some photos I had where this had this weird twig lamp. And I'm like, can you hold this lamp and pose? And so then later she's like, is this leather? I'm like, is that okay? She's like, it's too late now. So, and I'm sorry if there's some karmic thing that just, I'm sorry. But you look great. Okay. Yeah, see? Yes? Yes. Okay. They all support the painting. These three, if you look at them, they have beads and there's some day glow stuff. So they were their own set of experiments. This is a painting I have been wanting to do since this little girl was a wee little girl. And these are friends of mine and her daughter, mother and daughter. They live in Phoenix. And it was like time, just every time I saw her post a picture, the kids were getting older and older. And I'm like, ah! So I had a friend who's a photographer in Phoenix shoot them to my sketch, which is here. And then she sent me the picture. But when I got the picture, I thought I was getting 3 blondes. The middle daughter had dyed her hair pink. And, you know, I'm an artist, I can paint it yellow, but the concept took on a whole new dimension, and, you know, you are your family to, yeah, you are your family, but you're also going to strive to be yourself. And so she was on that cusp of struggling to be an individual, but still being part of her family. I was really pleased with this piece. Yeah.
The pose in the painting is different than the concept drawing. Is that because the photograph had them pose differently, or did you decide to change it up?
I had 2 sketches. The other had candles in their laps, and someone posted online that it looked like penises, so I removed that one. A lot of the things in the pictures come from my own, what I call little altars, like things that I just like that I have set up around my house. But I also ask the talent for things that they're interested in. And so in this case, this mirror had a lot of meaning to them. And so the photographer tried several different things, and then she would email them to me, and then I would look at it, and then I'd call her back and I'd say, try this. And then she'd email it and I'd say, try that, you know. And it was really a team effort to get this piece, and they were just so cooperative and wonderful. I just really couldn't have done it without them. And so it has meaning not only to me as the artist, it has meaning to them as well. You guys might have seen some of these people wandering around. I'm not going to point you out because you can stay incognito. A lot of people come to me and say, this is on my bucket list, paint me. I want to be painted. You know, this is important to me. And it really makes me feel honored and proud that somebody would trust me with such an important task. These little guys have to do with the video. Some of you have seen Incognito Marilyn, who sings at parties and on Facebook. So this is her wig, and this is the face from the video that you saw over here. And then this is also from the video we just saw, the Paint My Life video. That's a little teddy bear prop and a screen capture from a still from the video. So I wanted something to represent the video as well.
And who was the little girl? Right here.
Oh,
Stars.
cool.
The actual concept is about the hidden psyche, suppressing your inner psyche to assimilate to societal pressures. That's why when you see them, they're not smiley, pretty pictures. There's inner turmoil and acceptance that when whatever is inside, as you start to investigate and reveal, from that comes healing. You know, hopefully, instead of making pretty pictures, I'm making something that can have some impact on people. Sometimes you'll see power and you'll see stress, and then you'll see, you know, weakness, but strength, and all these things that make up your hidden inner self. And if you were to go in and investigate it and to reveal it, that's your hidden magic. That's your healing and your strength that comes from looking inside. And that's really the message of these pieces. That's G's message in this video that we just saw, is don't suppress your true magic. And it's hard. I asked models about their participation in this and how it affected them, where they felt connected to inner magic. One model told me about a bad relationship and how when you're in a really bad place, in this case, she ended up with cancer. It took a really strong battle. She called her magic, her inner goddess. And that's what allowed her find the strength to get out of the situation, to build a new life, to kick the cancer's ass, and to be who she really was supposed to be. Another friend, I asked him the same thing, and he sought out a psychic healer because he was having difficulty focusing and realizing his full potential. And he said he does not believe necessarily in this woman's power, but because he was open to the possibilities, she actually diagnosed him with ADHD. And it totally changed his life, his art, because he was open. So blind belief is not a requirement, but being open to the possibilities is. Another friend, she credits humor as her magic. She uses humor in business situations and personal situations, and that's what she claims is her inner magic. So I'm not saying that you need to be like, you know, bewitched and twinkle your nose, or I dream of genie and click your eyes. It's just being open to whatever the possibilities are and what the universe brings to you. So I'm hoping that this is portrayed in my work, and that's what I feel could be the message that helps people.
I had a comment. I was on a retreat that involved Celtic spirituality, and I was very struck by the concept of a fairy. A fairy looks like a regular human being, and you only know that something special has touched your life because something happens that turns out to be very, very important. Looking at the pictures all together, it reinforces my sense that we have sometimes this tremendous impact on each other, and we go about our daily lives, and it's not power in the sense of being powerful or smart all the time. It's just there's something intangible in the way we can relate to each other, as you say, if we're open to it. Mm-hmm. And they're beautiful souls here.
Thank you. Richard.
I have two things I'm dealing with.
Is one the tight crown?
No, actually it's comfortable. One is the no fear, which seems to be a part of this.
Yes.
And the other is the Garden of Eden, which it seems like these people are finding sort of an inner magical place that may lead beyond the concerns, you know, like where it's just all makes sense and we're happy and we're running around naming things. I don't.
Well, that's Peter, my son, somewhere in a crown as well, or no, he took his crown off. He and I have had lots of discussions because I'm like, what about this idea? Does this sound good? And you're just kind of throwing things off him. And one of the things, as you were saying, fear. the main attribute that all of my models have is they allow themselves to be vulnerable. There's a vulnerability in opening up. And the opposite or foe of vulnerability is fear. If you're afraid, you're not going to allow yourself to be vulnerable. And so fear is an evil, villain, and vulnerability is like, oh.
How you took the paintings and then took it a step farther and made characters out of the paintings and did the videos. I mean, I think it's just a really nice segue into getting deeper than into the paintings. And I just wondered when you decided to take it to that place.
The friend that I mentioned that uses laughter, she said to me one day when I was visiting that, these witches need to go off and do things. And then it was like, oh, they could. And so we started doing it. One of the Art Guild meetings, we did sort of a proof of concept improv. The very last Art Guild meeting before they tore this building down, I showed up as G, and Hank was hitting on G, and my daughter was there, and G brought a painting and discussed it during the Art Guild meeting. And then from there, I was asked to do a video interview that I'd done before, and I'm like, I'll do it if I can be G. Oh, there I am.
Is that you with the butterfly and the flowers?
Yeah, the artist, Mollie.
Yes.
She added that stuff.
It's very beautiful.
She's really good.
Yeah.
I think it looks like me. She had me make faces.
She did.
Yeah, well, I see you covered the naughty parts. I did too. And so I had another opportunity, and it just I started thinking of really humorous scenarios. And one thing led to another, and eventually Dave shot the Nobody Loves Fat G video, which is in schools in India, and it won an award for a spiritual festival, and it just played in the Women's Festival. Woo! And so, yeah. And then this video, obviously, that you just saw, Todd and I produced, a little bit more serious, but still really touching on the central themes. There's people who respond to photography. There's people who respond to abstract art. There's people who respond to videos who would look at this and be like, whatever.
That reaction ties into the social kind of status quo norm that is suppressing inner magic in people that we've been talking about. And one of the things I'm wondering, you captured that in the film. You captured G noticing as she's hiding her own inner magic, noticing these out witches walking around. In terms of your other art and in terms of the mission that you're kind of expressing, how do you see that translating into people crossing the line from recognition of their inner power to expressing it in their day-to-day lives and not allowing society to suppress it?
Starting on that path was our adornment station. So if you were not adorned, this was to allow you to play. That's part of my, ministry of spreading the word of the Incognito Witch, is also spreading the word of creativity. Seeing people who have put their lives on hold until they've retired. You can, in my humble opinion, you can make room for your art and your magic or whatever it is and still have a life. I mean, so I don't know how that's going to transition. Hopefully talking tonight will inspire somebody. So that's the one baby step at a time. Incognito Witch.